Hi, I'm Rena Greenberg. Today I want to talk with you about the different levels of the mind, and then I want to give you a technique to help you to connect with the most resourceful level of your mind so that you can achieve your goals and live the life that you're meant to live. Now you may recognize that at the outer level of the mind is the emotional reactive part of the mind, and that's where I see the most turbulence. So if you kind of use the analogy of the ocean, it's like the level where the waves are, and it's where we're reacting to life. And generally when we're in this reactive mental part of the mind, we're either feeling afraid or angry or anxious, and when we're in that level, it's like we don't want to let go. We think we know what we're doing, and we think we're responding to a situation, but oftentimes we're just reacting, maybe impulsively or maybe even shutting down. People respond differently. Some people, when they get into their emotions, they either surge forward and move, take action, and other people withdraw. But either way, it's not from the deepest place. And oftentimes it doesn't lead to any desired result and can often keep us, we've talked about this in the past, but just spinning in a certain situation. So for example, let's say you're dealing with food issues and weight, and the way you've always done things when you messed up is that you would start weighing and measuring your food even more, or going on some kind of a diet. And so the reactive mental part of the mind is going to want to do it the same way, even if it doesn't make sense. Even if you look at your past history, you can see that that always leads to a binge later on down the road. In that moment, because we're creatures of habit, you just want to keep doing the same thing. And in a relationship, you're going to tend to say the same kind of things you've said in the past, or do the same kind of things you've done in the past. So the reactive mental part of the mind is a very kind of predictable, because we tend to get into these patterns. And oftentimes we can't get out. And Einstein had told us, and we've talked about this, that we can't solve a problem the same level it was created. So I want to give you a technique today that's really useful. These videos that I create for you are all about giving you useful techniques that can actually help you to change your life, that I've used myself and that I've tested with, I've worked with over 100,000 people. I've had that privilege. So I want to share this with you. And what I call it is still point self-hypnosis. It's about going beyond that turbulence of the outer mind, like the waves of the ocean, the turbulence of the outer mind, and connecting to that deeper place within ourselves. So when I say still point, what do I mean? Well, what I mean is it's the point of creation. So you can think of still point as eternal. You can think of it as infinite. It's the place from which you were created. So when you were in your mother's womb and you were developing with arms and legs and bones and organs and muscles, they were all being created out of this still point. If you look at an ocean, the waves are on the surface, but deep inside there's that silence, that stillness. And it's the place out of which each wave emerges. In that moment when the wave decides to emerge and then fall back into the one ocean, it comes and goes into a place of the still point. And if you watch a baby grow, it's growing from that still point. And even if you were to stare at that baby and never fall asleep, you could never really see the baby grow until it's grown. Then you notice a difference. So the still point, though, sometimes in our reactive mind, we think that's dull, that's boring. I don't want to go to that place of silence. I want activity. Actually, the still point is extremely active. It's just full of life. It's where the seed becomes the oak tree. And it's a beautiful place, and it's a place where we can recreate ourselves, where our thoughts and feelings can actually be transformed, something that we cannot do from the mental place in our minds, from the emotional place. We have to go deep inside ourselves to connect. And there are many vehicles to do that. Some people will use music, art, prayer, gardening. And the self-hypnosis is a wonderful way to go inside and connect to that still point. And that's what I want to guide you to do here today, but realize there's not any one way to do it. The most important thing I'd like you to get out of this video, this teaching today, would be that That's the only way to achieve change, is to change our level of consciousness, to actually bring it up. And to bring it up, we have to go deep inside. We can't find it out there. So there's things out there that can symbolize this higher state within ourselves, perhaps people that have reached a higher place that we might want to read about, or if we have the privilege to be around, or a baby, or a beautiful plant or a garden. It can remind us of that still point, but to actually connect and create change, we have to go within ourselves and connect with the place within ourselves. So one way to do that, it's really best, I find, to close your eyes, but you don't have to. So one of the best ways to go inside and get out of the head is even just to place your hands, one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, or even your solar plexus, because you want to start feeling your body. You want to go deep inside yourself. So start to breathe, breathing into your chest, breathing into your belly. And remember, we don't get rid of thoughts and emotions. We can't get rid of them. And sometimes when there's a lot of turbulence in the mind, it could take a bit to actually be able to transcend them. But we have to set the intention if we want it to happen at all. So go inside to your chest, to your heart, the metaphorical heart, your connection with your core, with your center, with your powerful subconscious mind, with your heart, down into your belly, connecting into that source of creation that I call the still point. And for many people, counting can be extremely helpful, and it's a technique I often use to help guide people into the hypnotic state. And so if you only have a short amount of time, you can even just count from 3 to 1. But if you have a little more time and you want to even see the numbers as you're counting down, some people will even want to see the numbers painted on their forehead, and it helps to bring you inside. If it's helpful, you can use an image. Imagine yourself going down on an elevator or a staircase. 10, 9, and the intention is to connect deep inside to your still point. 8, allowing your muscles to let go. 7, relaxing more and more. 6, 5, almost there, halfway. Seeing the number 4, fading into 3, and just feeling all your attention going into your feeling sense in your body. 2, draining out of your mental field. Even though we can't stop the thoughts, we can place our attention elsewhere within ourselves. 1 and 0. So relaxed. And if you don't really feel relaxed, just notice that something's shifting within you, and let go of being goal-oriented. Just realizing that through this process, you can start to go deeper within. Some people will feel very relaxed, and some of you may just feel a difference, maybe a tingling sensation or a heaviness, or less controlled by the thoughts. And for some of you, you may want to use imagery. I always like light, a radiant golden sun in the center of your chest, or down in your solar plexus, in your belly, or throughout that whole area of your torso, just a golden sun filling you. That's good. And then from this place, just breathing here, and just let the intention be to stay in your still point, to be here more and more. And you have to realize you can't force it. And other things in life, it's like we feel like if we try harder, if we push ourselves, we can run that extra mile. We can get that paper done by tomorrow. But it's an interesting thing when it comes to accessing the still point, the harder that we try, the more it eludes us. And that's why some people say, I can't be hypnotized. Well, don't try so hard. Just allow it. It's a natural state. You might recognize the feeling as you're falling asleep at night or when you're waking up in the morning. And then from this still point, set your intention to see your life situation from a new perspective. Again, don't force it. Don't make it up. If there's someone you're upset with, you don't have to force yourself to forgive them. Just open to the possibility of seeing your life situation. Whatever it is you're going through, whether it's a health issue, a relationship issue, a weight issue. And allow yourself to just open to see things from a larger perspective, from the perspective of infinity, eternity. Sometimes it can be helpful when you get down into this place of the still point to see your life situation as a picture, a photograph, or even if it's a movie, but making it really small, down to the size of maybe even a postage stamp, shrinking it down, putting it a little bit further away from you so it doesn't have the same emotional impact. You want to distance yourself. It's not about detaching from your emotions or denying them. You want to know, I'm angry, I'm afraid. And yet you don't want to stay, you don't want to identify with the angry, afraid place, but instead allow the light and the love and the infinite wisdom of your still point to shine on that life situation and show you a new perspective. So that you begin to see that even though my life situation is here, I have this, I am feeling these feelings about it, it's not me. I am so much more than any of this. This too shall pass. How important is this situation? How important will it be in 5 years, 10 years? And feeling your connection to something much, much greater, much, much bigger. And the last thing I want to share with you is remembering that your still point is the same as everyone else's. You're no better, you're no worse. And realize that when you relate to people, sometimes if it's an emotional situation, allow yourself to connect to your still point and their still point. And to realize that at this level, there is no problem. There's only life. We're all breathing the same air. I hope that this video was helpful to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please stay in touch and let me know how you're doing, how your life is going when you use these techniques. Thank you so much. God bless you.